What's going on, my broskies? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're back again with another tier list. It's about to finish up the month of August, and there were a lot of brand new characters that we need to talk about in this video, including all of the new batches with Film Red, the new Super Evolution, as well as all of the level limit breaks that came alongside it. So of course, before we jump into it, we need to talk about the current structure and my current criteria that I use in order to actually rank these characters. First of which is the overall power of the unit. How much damage can this unit actually output? How fast are they at clearing content? And how reliable are they at clearing that content? Is there content that they cannot clear at all? And how usable or versatile is a character? Can this unit be put into a lot of different teams? And if they can, it definitely makes them higher rated in my own tier list. Before we actually jump into the video though, I want to give a massive shout out to the sponsor of today's video. This video is proudly sponsored by Dislyte, a stylish urban mythological RPG set in a futuristic city with striking visuals, exuberant beats, and superheroic characters that cater to all types of players. Dislyte is available to download on iOS and Android devices by going down below in the video description and clicking the links, or in the pinned comment section of this video. Alternatively, you can go ahead and scan the QR code to download it on your device of choice, and make sure when you're in game to use the code Union to get your hands on some wicked goodies. Funnily enough, I actually played small amounts of Dislyte before they reached out to me to make this video, and one thing that really struck me was the art style of the game, with a unique pop fantasy style of the picture. From the original design of scenes and characters to the animation of battles, Dislyte maintains an absolutely high standard. Dislyte is great for casual players, with auto farming allowing you to gather resources very easily. However, they also cater towards their more hardcore and dedicated players, with a competitive PvP environment with high levels of strategy being employed to overwhelm your opponents and your friends alike. Dislyte has a variety of different espers that you're sure to love. However, with their recent update, there will be a new esper introduced into the game where Almighty Zeus awakens. The esper Gaius is a monumental release for Dislyte, as he is the only esper in the game that can switch into the God King state, granting him amazing abilities to defeat his adversaries with his destructive thunder attacks. However, he's not just a strong esper. They've gone to great lengths to show where Gaius came from and what his motives are as a genuine character. Losing a loved one in the heat of battle, he along with a few others formed the Esper Union to help protect the city and its civilians from incoming threats, and to ultimately save the world. Adding depth to these characters, giving them life, making them more grounded, more relatable, makes them just overall more likable. And honestly, I'm just impressed with Gaius. I love his backstory, and I think that his thunder attacks are extremely flashy. Almighty Zeus awakens in Dislyte, and if you want to get your hands on the almighty powerful new esper, Gaius Zeus, then make sure to go down below in the video description or in the pinned comment section of this video, download it today, or you can scan the QR code on your iOS or Android device to download it directly there. Also, make sure to go ahead and use the code Esper Union to get your hands on some awesome goodies when you start your account. But once again, thank you very much to Dislyte for sponsoring today's video. Alright, so now we can actually start talking about the tier list here. So, of course, with this tier list, this is the exact same tier list that we had last month. However, after going through it all, I think I may have missed a few characters, like the Halloween hybrids and stuff. I've definitely missed some characters here. I don't know what I did. So we're going to go ahead and just place them along here. And also, don't worry about this Shiki. I've already removed the icon from the list now, so you don't need to worry about that. But we've got a lot of new characters to chuck in here, and we got some characters that need to go in this tier list. Honestly, there's a lot here that probably deserve to be on the list. Like Villain Katakuri, he's not really that good, but he kind of deserves to be there. The Halloween hybrids are still like pretty good if you're running, you know, mono int. I would say for sure they have to be in tier 3 at a bare minimum. Probably Law's a little bit better because he does have better supports on him. They probably deserve to be like around Corazon level, something like this. Wherever I put Law, I put Mihawk. You know, they're pretty similar to each other. Halloween Shanks is bad. A lot of these super evolutions are just terrible. Kum is bad. Komurasaki is like not bad. She deserves to be on here as well. Capone's okay. Kaido Crew probably still deserves to be on here. He can kind of cheese content. And then you've got the Big Mom. I'm not a big fan of this Big Mom. I think she's kind of bad, but she does deserve to be on the list. Probably around here somewhere. She's not bad, but definitely not a really good design unit. But we've got a lot of characters in this tier list that, you know, we may need to change their positionings of, and obviously we've got all the level limit breaks that we need to add on here as well. There's just a lot to get into, so let's just jump into it. In terms of tier 5, pretty low tier characters here, of course. None of these are really surprising characters. I think they all kind of deserve to be here. The thing is with the introduction of the Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo character, it does give shooters a pretty substantial buff, but still, shooters are pretty bad as a whole. They don't have a lot of good utility units, so hopefully we get some more of those in the near future. I think tier 5 seems pretty reasonable right now. We've got tier 4 here, Carrot. Carrot's pretty good, but she kind of still deserves to be in that position. We've got a lot of the level limit break characters still in this tier as well. Like, none of these characters are really jumping out at me that deserve to really go up higher. I think that's completely reasonable to leave them here. We've got the characters in tier 3 now. I think Lucci's actually very good. He probably deserves to be a little bit higher. Borsalino is still pretty solid. You know, Perona and Mihawk are still pretty good. You got Hancock, which I used a little bit throughout the previous month. I really don't like Luffy and Sanji. I think LT page 1 probably jumped them. Stampede Luffy. Okay, so this is interesting. This is a character that did receive a limit break, a level limit break, should I say, and he did become pretty good, and I think for those reasons he probably does deserve to move up at least one tier. He probably is around like this level. I think that this Luffy's still a little bit more valuable in more cases, but Stampede Luffy's very good. The utility in his captain ability is probably the most valuable asset that this character has. And the rest of these characters here are like okay. I think that Sober Mask really has dropped in value a lot. Same with this Snake Man Luffy. He just hasn't really been that useful. Like, Zora's still been pretty good because he's really good as a speed farming captain for Treasure Map. You've got I think I'll drop Snake Man down to the bottom of this tier. Lucci with his level limit breaks very good, and Bullet also received a level limit break. I do think that Bullet is a better unit than Stampede Luffy. But again, this is like the gatekeeper of tier 2. I can't see myself putting too many characters above this Luffy. I think I like him as the gatekeeper here. But, you know, Bullet and Luffy in particular, their buffs are very good. But I don't think it makes them like tier 1 or tier 0 worthy characters. But they make them like actually usable in more modern content. And that's pretty much the rest of tier 3. But then we move on to tier 2, which we talked about just a little bit. I don't have Smoothie, but there's been a lot of occasions when I've been team building, and Smoothie has been like the perfect character in so many different teams that I've been wanting to build. I think this character is actually very strong and kind of underrated. I think that, you know, this character probably is a little bit more valuable than having Bullet or Stampede Luffy. I think this character is super underrated and is easily the best Pirate Rumble legend in terms of using them in normal content. Just usable, special with increased damage as well as utility, just across the board a really good character. You got the VVs, the Karen Wanda, also very valuable, really powerful special, has hunger as the only, well, I think it may like one of the only deck slashes with hunger. I believe there was another character that came out recently. I think it's literally Hiyori, a dex character with hunger, so pretty awesome to have that. Kuzan with his level limit break is very good. Chopper is devalued a little bit now because of the release of the new Chopper, but it doesn't make this character bad. You can still use him to cotton candy farm, has a really good utility special, but you know, obviously not as valuable to have when you have the new Chopper, which is just a more powerful version of the Chopper, but this guy has more utility effects, which can still be used in a lot of content. Chopper still has really good supports too. And then you got Kaido versus Big Mom. They're kind of bad, honestly. They just don't really see a lot of play. There isn't really a need for this character too much anymore, but I think I'll leave them in tier 2 for now. And then we can move on to tier 1. We've got some really powerful characters in here. Now, honestly, I've been using CatDog a lot, and I do think that CatDog deserve to be the top of tier 1. I've just been using them so much, and they are ridiculous together. Even if you need to use one of them, just having one of them is awesome, but then when you have both of them, oh man, they're just ridiculous units, I think. Marco's very good. Still don't have Black Maria, haven't had too many opportunities to use her. I don't think Wano Law deserves to be that high. I think that there's been a lot of characters that have released over the past few months that kind of replace Wano Law and what he kind of used to do. You know, Wano Law for a long period of time was like the only character that would give you chain boundary. He also gives a really solid orb boost, but now there's characters that can already do what he does, and sometimes even better. So honestly, I think the value of Wano Law has waned a bit, and his captain ability doesn't hold up. He doesn't have super type, no super class, so it definitely devalues the character as a whole. But he's still very, very solid though. I think Katakuri is very close to tier 0. And the reason for it is because he's been so good for recent content. And, you know, we see that when a character receives a super evolution, yeah, they become boosted units in future content. But the thing with Katakuri is he's actually super good in so many different pieces of content. Plus, he's free to play. So a lot of people have been able to get access to him with his super evolution. And while I have a different perspective of using this character because my one is level 150, limit break expanded, as max as you possibly can get it, he's really valuable to have, I must say. He's very, very good. Shanks crew, probably not as valuable as what he once was. I think he's still more valuable than Wano Law. I think he's still more valuable than these characters. Probably around this tier sits well with me. Akanu's still very good. Hiyori is ridiculous, man. She's really good. I kind of want to bump her up a little bit, probably just below Cat Dog. And Zoro Sanji actually has been pretty solid too. Kind of want to bump them up too, maybe around this tier. I'm pretty happy with that. I don't think any of them deserve to go straight up, but these characters near the top, very close to being bumped up. And then we got tier 0, so we've got a lot of really powerful characters here. I think Law has been way more valuable than some of the other characters here. I think Ace versus Akainu has been a little bit more valuable. I'm just talking as of late and how I've personally seen things. We've got Drake. Drake's ridiculous. We've got Bon Clay, probably a little bit more valuable than Drake, but personally I've been using Drake a lot more because of Kaido. Kid's still very good. Both kids, by the way, very good. Odin's solid. Whitebeard versus Shanks is probably a little bit less valuable now, to be honest. I think the waifus are a little bit more valuable than these characters here. Yeah, these two are still really good, honestly. Shirahoshi Mancherry, I love this character to bits. I think that Hiyori is very, like she's really close to being bumped up to this same level as like Shirahoshi Mancherry. She definitely has a better captain compared to those characters, so that's at least something to look forward to because I may be bumping her up. But at the moment, I'm leaving her in tier 1 for now. Then we've got, you know, Sasaki with the Toby Roper. Has been pretty good, but not too bad. I have had him and I've used him a little bit. He's been pretty awesome, to be honest. He's been a really great asset to some of the team builds that I've been aiming for. Frankie's been super surprising. I've loved using him recently. He's still really, really solid. But I think the rest of these characters seem like in a pretty good position. Maybe Kuzan being bumped down. I kind of want to swap the positions of these two. Because like as of late, Katakuri I've been using a lot more. Kind of like him a little bit more than Whitebeard vs Shanks. But I think that seems pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that list of tier 0. And then we've got the top 5 characters in the game. We've got Luffy crew, Kaido, Roger versus Whitebeard, or Roger and Whitebeard should we say, Ace and Yamato, and then base Yamato. So at the moment, I'm pretty happy leaving those characters as they are. But of course, we've got a lot of new characters to add. So let's go through and pick up all the characters. So we've got Tesoro with his level limit break. So we've got to go ahead and have a look at him. We've got the Zephyr, of course. He got his level limit break. We had Sanji, and then Stampede Luffy, and also Bullet. So let's go with Sanji. I think Sanji, he got a lot of really nice buffs. He becomes like a 10 times captain. He's a 5 times captain to himself. And then when you use his Skywalk, he gets 2 times attack. His special ability is way better. I think that due to the fact that he is essentially just a rainbow captain and really, really good at that, he's probably around this tier. Yeah, probably around here. Probably Luffy, Sanji a little bit more valuable. They have hunger, so that's pretty good. But yeah, I'm pretty comfortable leaving Sanji at that tier. And who knows how good he's going to be for Grand Voyage. We assume the Grand Voyage is going to center around that character. Zephyr, unfortunately, kind of suffers from the fact that he's focusing on shooters. So he's probably like the best of these shooter units. I probably like Ace a little bit more than Borsalino. But then again, Borsalino's for slashes too. So yeah, Borsalino probably is a little bit more valuable. So unfortunately, Zephyr being focused on shooters, not really that good. But hopefully shooters receive a butt ton of support and it makes these characters way, way more valuable. And then Tesoro, he definitely got really good buffs. Special ability is very solid, and specifically when you get him to 150 and limit break expand him, his captain's very good. Of course, he is still focusing on hitting greats, which isn't the best, but he is way more usable than what he once was. But, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, he probably is still like a really low tier character. just because the captain ability is annoying to use, honestly. But then we've got a bunch of new characters to talk about. So we'll leave the Super Sugo Fest units until the last. But we've got Shiki first. I've been using Shiki a little bit, and I've been very impressed. And my one is 150 with Limit Break expansion, so I have him as max as you can possibly get him. And he's been very impressive, as I said, boosting 3 different colors, getting rid of his stupid tap restriction. His special ability is ridiculous. His captain ability got a massive upgrade, reducing despair. His special is just ridiculous in a lot of different ways. He is definitely a tier 1 character. I would put him around this tier right now. I think Shiki is ridiculous, and if we have more future 6+s to look forward to in this same vein, then I am very much excited to see what they have planned. So next we have, let's go with Chopper. So we got Chopper next. Chopper, it was a bit of a surprise. You know, we didn't expect Chopper to be a Sugofest exclusive, and the fact that he's basically a buffed version of the version 1 Chopper, being, you know, another dupe dropping cotton candy unit. And, you know, he is only focused on int and cerebral, so that restricts him in team building aspects because, you know, with the other Chopper that we talked about earlier, he is a rainbow captain, so that obviously is big for him. But the big thing about this Chopper is that his multipliers are way higher, so you can beat more difficult content with him, which means that you can drop more cotton candy on the difficult content. You can farm with him if you want. And his special ability is very good for more offensive focused strategies. Obviously, you can use him in a utility sense because he does get rid of Bind and Despair, but he also does, he inflicts resistance down on the enemy, minus 50% for your cerebral units. He gives color affinity for multiple different turns. He's a healer. He does a lot of really cool stuff. I really do like Chopper a lot, and I think that he definitely deserves to be a tier 1 character, and a very high one at that. I'm going to put him in like the top of tier 1. I don't know if I want to put him in tier 0 per se, but he's in that same vein of like Hiyori, Shirahoshi Manchuri, these units that have really powerful specials, but Chopper has a much better captain. Man, the more I talk about him, the more I want to put him in tier 0, but I think I'm going to leave him at the top of tier 1 for now. Very surprising unit. I wasn't expecting him to be as good as what he was. We've got Beckman and Lucky Roo. So as of the recording of this video, it's the 25th of August, so they're currently not out yet as of the recording of this video. We only have their base information. So going off of what that is, I think that this character is still very good because of how unique he is. The only problem is that he's focusing on shooters, and his super class effect, it can be difficult to activate. He has super tandem, which is cool, but also can be very difficult to activate. At level 5 super tandem, I think this character is going to be absolutely bonkers because it's very easy to activate the super tandem ability. But as a base unit right now, it's really difficult to place. I think that I want to put him in tier 1 for sure, but it's gauging where I want to place him. I think currently I want to put him around here, maybe a little bit better than the Sanji Zoro, because yeah, he's basically mono quick, or you can run shooters, right? But if you want to get the most out of him, you run shooters. That's the best way to use this unit. He has a very cool special too, and that captain ability, man, is so unique. And of course, as I said, recording this video before his initial release, so we haven't had a chance to really playtest this unit, but on paper, seems interesting, but hard to gauge how good he's really going to be. So, next, let's talk about Shanks. We'll leave Uta till last, because I think Uta's one of the best units in the game. Not even kidding. I think that Shanks is ridiculous. He has very unique abilities, and he's without doubt going to be in tier 0. I think he's probably around this tier, around the same level as Luffy and Law. It's actually kind of funny. He reminds me a lot of Law in a couple of different ways. You know, they're both like cerebral units, they're both quick, but they're both going to be insanely good in Kizuna Clash. And of course, Super Boss Kizuna is going to be a bit of a problem because he doesn't change the boss's color if they're a super type unit. But even in regular Kizuna, he's going to be awesome. And also, if you're up against a Super Boss Kizuna where the boss is a strength unit naturally, then yeah, Shanks is still going to absolutely dominate it. Phenomenal captain ability, up to a 5.5 multiplier, huge chain boosting effects, huge color affinity effects to your units, and synergizes well with this final tap Luffy as well, going to be huge. Uta can synergize with this unit as well. There's lots to love about Shanks. He is a ridiculous unit. and with his unique ability to be used in clashes, arenas, to just change the enemy color to strength so you always have that type advantage for your crew. It's such a cool mechanic, and I really hope that they abuse this more in the future. I can't wait to see what else they have in store for the Film Red celebration, but I think Shanks is probably a tier 0 unit. And then we've got Uta. So as I said, I do think Uta currently right now is one of the best units in the game. And this is without her super evolution. Now, her super evolution can really change things. But even on initial release, even just reading her abilities without even like using the character, I immediately knew this character was going to be a very powerful unit. She's like easily a top tier unit. But after being able to have a look at this unit, what she's been able to do, her captain ability, very simple but very strong. Her super class effect is probably the weakest component of the unit. Doesn't really provide too much. Obviously, it can provide buffs in ways, but it's not the greatest. But her special is definitely the highlight, providing humongous boosts to Cerebral and Striker for multiple different turns. And you can build your team in such a way where your only attack and all boosts come from Uta, and that's it. You can just use Uta as your dedicated attack and all booster, and then use the rest of your crewmates to build around utility and gimmick removal, which I really like. It frees up a lot of slots on your crew. And I think that, you know, she reminds me a lot of Ace and Yamato in having a very powerful captain ability that can get around gimmicks, but then also having a really powerful special that can give you massive damage. But the thing is I do believe that Uta is better than Ace and Yamato. That's the way that I see it right now. And of course, Ace and Yamato have bind and special bind removal, which is probably a little bit more common than special reverse and paralysis. But I mean, man, that special is just redonky donk. And the fact is, with Ace and Yamato, they have an inherent drawback of their switch ability basically not being able to be used in normal content like raids, arenas, etc. because the ignite just kills enemies. I really hate that. I really wish that the switch ability only applied the ignite on the super switch. I think that's a really, really big problem with this unit. Or make the ignite basically negligible with their switch until it reaches the super swap. So I think as of now, I want to put Uta as the 4th best unit in the game behind Roger and Whitebeard. And it's kind of cool though, because a lot of these units, they all synergize together. They're all like Striker based, which is just nuts to think about. In terms of raw damage potential, Striker probably has the best in the game. I mean, Free Spirit also have amazing damage via this Luffy, and obviously got Luffy crew as well, but Striker are just amazing and very, very impressive units. So due to that, I think I'm going to bump down Sai Yamato to the top of tier 0. And I think starting from next month, we're probably going to have to dilute the tier 0 pool, because all of these units are so good. So we're probably going to have to, you know, thin this pool out just a little bit. But with all of that, that is pretty much going to wrap up the tier list. Of course, there are probably some of these units that could be put on this list in some way, shape, or form. But as of right now, I'm pretty comfortable leaving this tier list just the way it is. We've got some really powerful units on here, but let me know your thoughts and opinions. What do you guys think about Legend Uta and also the brand new Super Sugo Fest exclusive Redhead Shanks? I think that they're really interesting units. Hopefully we get a different Shanks in the future, like a modern day Shanks, current day Shanks, because, you know, seeing the pre-time skip one is cool, but I want to see the Giga Chad Shanks, so hopefully we get some of that in the future. But as I said, this video is being recorded on the 25th of August, so we haven't had a really good opportunity to utilize Shanks, Beckman, and Lucky Roo just yet. So hopefully we're able to pull them on the Sugo Fest, and we'll see how things go. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today, and if you guys did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.